Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Caught on the Mic. Today's episode is a story about roots, reconnection, and the kind of creativity that doesn't just come from the studio, it comes from the soul. I am joined by two powerhouses, the one and only Shawn Stockman, four-time Grammy winner and founder of Boyz II Men. He's also provided the soundtrack of every single high school dance and girl I made out with in high school. So thank you very much for that, Shawn.
My
and
pleasure.
And the one and only Billy Mann, hit-making songwriter, producer. He's worked with the likes of Pink and John Legend and so much more. Combined together, they are Chosen Family, and their album dropped today, and it is fantastic. It's called Generation Us. I have been listening to tracks off of it for weeks now. I was so excited to hear the full thing fleshed out this morning on the drive to the day job. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having us, and we appreciate you supporting the effort and getting into the vibes. You know, this is all we wanted. This is all vibes and energy and good times and good feelings. So we wanted to just exude that and spread it across the country, or the world, actually.
I love that. I love that. That goes so well with kind of my mission statement with the podcast. There's so much going on in the world that is a force to divide us. And like, I know my personal mission statement is to prove that we have more in common than we do different in a world constantly trying to divide us. So like, if we can put positive content, positive energy out there, whether it be through music and through podcasts, and throw out all the bullshit that we're dealing with in the world, it's the right way to go.
I agree. Amen.
Well, you guys have a long-standing friendship that dates back to your time at Philadelphia's Creative and Performing Arts School, lifelong love of music, powerful connection as friends. Let's kind of start at the beginning. What do you remember about your time at Kappa, and how did those early experiences plant the seeds for what this project is?
I mean, I was older than Shawn, so it's like we were both second tenors in the choir, and I used to walk to school with Nate, one of the guys in Boyz II Men from time to time. But it was more later that we connected, so it's like we knew a lot of the same people, but we were taught by the same vocal director, Mr. King, like anybody that went to Kappa during that era knows. And it was a community that was so deep with so many incredibly talented people at one time. Like, I'm actually surprised that there isn't some sort of, there's no like movie that's around all the people that went to the school. So, I mean, Boyz II Men, but also the Roots, Christian McBride, Joey DeFrancesco, I don't know. I mean, I'm like G Love,
Amel Rue,
right?
Like, it was a very, we call it the magic period, me and the guys, because it was in those 4 or 5 years, I think we have more Grammys and awards and songwriting awards and things of that nature had come from those 4 years than probably any other time in the history of that school.
Yeah, I would say, I don't even think, other than schools like Berkeley or schools that are predominantly music, that you find any high school that has this level of talent. And then one of the other guys we went to high school with, Clay Sears, who collaborated with us on the record, he was an instrumental music major, and he has played with like John Mayer, and he's out with Stevie Wonder, and so, but that was the caliber when we were kids. And so I would run into Shawn, it was like over the course of, as our careers evolved, obviously, Boyz II Men career, that's a rocket ship that took off. Mine was more like, I was traveling much more in the steady, turtle wins the race, little train that could. But it's really where we landed was in the same studios and the same award shows, and then over time, we connected, and it's very surface most of the time. Like at backstage at an award show or at a concert, you see people and you kind of like hug it out and say what's up. But it's really the connection for us was through our kids. Both of us are autism dads. This isn't a record that's about that, but in terms of what prompted it, our boys were really the prompts. And as Shawn will tell you, it's like when my son is not verbal, so he spoke to me and said, "Call Shawn," and in that way, we were inspired to connect, and that's really where it started for me. If anything, um, like most people from Philly, Boyz II Men was like it was a flag you wanted to wave because it was a point of pride. It was a point of pride for Kappa students, but it was very easy. We picked up and like all the childhood slang, musically and socially just kicked in.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. What do you think it was about that specific moment in time that and that location that produced all that level of talent? Do you think it was just an iron sharpens iron moment?
100%. 100%. Like when you're raised under that ecosystem of talent and raw just gifts that are being honed and crafted and shaped by all of these genius teachers and professors and instructors, um, you can't help but to be great. Like me and the guys always say, specifically in our choir, there could have been 4 or 5 other Boys to Men's.
Easy.
They were that they were that good. And it just so happened to be us. But yeah, I mean, I look at it as like a musical Hogwarts. It's one of those things where it's like you're learning the craft of alchemic music and within a structure, but it still allowed us to be ourselves and to express ourselves vocally and musically and all of those. It wasn't just about the classes, it was the stuff we did in between class.
Yeah.
Getting together, creating groups, making music, getting going to Mr. Walker's room where he had the piano and working out songs. I can literally see and look back and see the songs that Nate would work on, for example, and what I would work on that would eventually be on our first
Right.
album that we worked out all in that high school. So it's just that whole just ecosystem of creativity and music and dance and art and literature and instruments and all of those things every day, 5 days a week for 6, 7, 8 hours. It's the best place to
Yeah,
be.
and the music, the level of musician was
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't wanna I can't speak to, like, the other departments in the school, but I tell you this, the music side, it wasn't competitive with each other, it was competitive, like, you
Right.
had no choice but to rise. If you did it, you were gone.
Yeah.
You were gone.
Yeah.
It's like everybody was so good, and it was like, and I'll give you an example, like, we could learn a classical piece in the choir, really complicated classical piece in German. And then you would find all of us in the hallway doing a gospel version of the German classical
Right.
piece
I love
Right.
just to
that.
fuck with it,
Right.
just to like see what you could do with it.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and that's
That's real.
how good it was. And but it
Yeah.
was also look,
Wait,
the
wait.
part that's really challenging is a lot of it was still a Philly, inner city school. And like it was a safe place when you were in the building, but a lot of kids that we grew up with, they did not, they, they didn't do as well or um
It was in the hood.
it was yeah. It was and
Schools in the hood.
that part is still, I think, a little heartbreaking for me and I think for most of us, because there are kids that we grew up with that were crazy talented that never saw honestly, they never saw out of that school. School
Yeah.
was that was they
Yeah.
peaked. They
Right.
peaked.
So, we're kind of taking a step back to the past and we're talking about your experiences as youth. And as you mentioned, you guys reconnected as fathers of neurodivergent children, and how it's I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this, but it kind of adds a little bit more weight to the name of this project, in particular, the chosen family thing, these shared experiences, these shared life experiences where, I love the name of your group, by the way, because, as I'm an estranged child. So I know the concept of chosen family very, very, very well. The people that you surround yourself with, the people that take up a special place in your heart. So reconnecting and like bringing all of these life experiences together, how has it influenced this album that dropped today, Generation Us?
Like Billy mentioned, it was really the tie that binded us.
Yeah.
Like we always respected each other's prowess and what we did, and enjoyed each other's music, from afar. But it was almost like kismet that we did this project because of the parallels. Us going to the same high school, us all, the both of us being autism dads, um, musicians, the whole thing. Like it just, we were
Right.
chosen. We were chosen to uh walk this walk and to do it the way that we did it, or that we're doing it now. So we just felt like it was just meant to be, and uh we were family from long ago, and just like some family, you reunite,
Right.
Yeah.
and for a greater purpose. So chosen family was, it has many layers to the actual moniker because of just all of
Right.
those attributes, all of those components that make us who we are. So again, it's deeper than just the music itself. It's the bond. Like when it's all said and done, Billy and I will always be friends, whether this project, soars or
Right.
sinks. Um, we have that connection, that forever connection, and we'll always be chosen family.
I think the other thing I would add is that I mean, look, there are a lot of people I know in the LGBTQ community that chosen family is really important to them, right?
Yes.
And and so there are a lot of people like you just mentioned, who or maybe kids that are estranged, or they don't have access to family members, and then who you surround yourself with is chosen family. And I think, um, I mean, the only thing I would say, Sean, hearing you, is that there's nothing about this project that thinks, right? Because the choice that we made to do it wasn't a choice based on trying to be validated by the industry. We've got that already. So it's more like
Right.
and we have to remind ourselves of that too, right? Because um, when you are inherently so driven and you want to achieve and get music out there to people, this is a luxury experience. I said to Sean earlier today, this is a good cheat. This is the kind of like thing you look at your life and you get to do it, and it's a good cheat. You're cheating on your life in good, healthy ways. And I would just, we're lucky that we get to make that choice, I think.
Based on some of the things that you guys are saying, it's almost like a full circle moment back to authenticity, that your life path has brought you back to a place where you can write from a place where you're not kind of chasing hits, or where you're
Right.
able to actually express yourselves as if this was a fresh start all over again. Am I wrong to assume that?
100%. That's the allure to doing this, and to wanting to do more of it, because it's literally eating cake
Right.
for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this is the cool thing about it. We can't wait to be on stage and singing in front of people, and just just sharing that joy, because I think that's what a lot of music is missing. It's missing the intent
Yeah.
behind it. Like everybody you see or hear on the radio, most of the time their intention is to be
Right.
famous, is to be a star, is to be rich, is to be the hot guy in the club or the hot girl in the club or whatever. And all of it being contrived to reach some level of superficial validation. Whereas this particular project we just want to grab some guitars that we just picked up from the guitar shop that we thought were cool, and play these things in front of people and with some songs that we wrote, and just clown and sweat on stage and create a camaraderie and create a energy of togetherness where by the end of the show we might be in the crowd playing our guitars with the crowd drinking beers and high-fiving each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
we welcome that type of community. And this is what this whole thing is about.
Oh, I love that. So let's talk about the genesis of you guys working together and writing these songs together. How did that specifically come about?
Initially we were, we talk again, like with our classmate from high school, Clay. And I was sending texts of ideas to Sean, like, I mean, the start of it was, let's just hang out and play guitars and talk about life. And also because, we're autism dads, it was a good place for us to go and hang out. And then you could talk
Right.
about your family life, which, I don't want to overly generalize about anything, but I think it's hard for dads to do that. Um,
I think it's hard for
uh,
men to do that.
well, yeah, I only know that it's such a unique experience, and I think that I mean, my wife is amazing, and I know Sean's wife is amazing. I mean, that you build community. It's more, for some reason it seems or felt more accessible. So that was the first start, and then because Sean is an amazing guitarist, which is overlooked sometimes because you think, when you're one of the greatest R&B singers and the biggest R&B groups,
Right.
guitar is not required, right? But he started playing when he was about 40 and he's ridiculous. So I think the idea of just um Sean showing up with a guitar and me showing up with a guitar, and they were on tour in London and I was traveling and Clay was coming from DC, and we just got to Philly and it just began. But sending each other texts of like little snippets of ideas. And then Sean came in, sorry, Sean, but Sean came in and he had this, this idea, like started playing what became Mistakes. And he was singing the Well Hello thing. And when you start any writing session with any artist, I mean, for me, it's like, this is my day to day. You don't know what the fuck is gonna come out. You're gonna walk in
Right.
and first of all, depending on who the artist is, you really are we're it's we're magicians. I mean, songwriters, we're creating something that when you're done, it's still invisible, right?
Right.
So we don't know what it's gonna be, but it was so easy. And I think that's when it all goes back to that sort of that muscle memory, the experience that Sean was talking about in school, is that the training, like that, it just it made it super easy. But I will say that what I didn't expect to happen, I don't think any of us expected, was how quickly it just poured out of us. It just poured out of us.
It was a great inaugural song because it's really about my concept, my idea of it was me looking at the future me and seeing this illuminated human being that I always wanted to be, but was scared at the same time of being that person because of me understanding what it was going to take to evolve into that human being.
Ugh.
That's why it says, well, hello, you look familiar, but I don't think that I've seen your face before because I haven't seen that guy yet.
Yes.
But there's a glow all around you that makes me afraid, but so hard to ignore. So it's almost like looking at something so beautiful that you can't really turn your face from, and that it's something that connects with you, and it's a scary thing to change. It's a scary thing to evolve and to become greater than what you are because you don't know what hell you're going to have to go through to get
Right.
there. So it's all of those things. And as the chorus states, mistakes are where miracles are born to be. So you can't it's that old phrase, pressure makes diamonds. It's like you can't really become the illuminated person that you're meant to become without feeling a little pain.
Yes.
And that's I think it's congruent to this whole project in itself. Like it's about changing. It's about evolving and welcoming the fear, welcoming the bruises and the bumps, but still understanding that there's a purpose behind every scar.
Yes.
And that's what the song's about.
Yes. I got to tell you, we're all musicians here. So like music has this ability to the right song, I should say, has this ability to touch you on such a visceral level that you can kind of tap into past, present, future, your sense of nostalgia, your sense of where you're going. And that song in particular, Mistakes, did such a great job with that the other night when I was, like I said, had the headphones on and I'm listening to it in bed. And I hear the fingerprints of both of your past works in that, but I also hear moments that kind of evoke, Simon and Garfunkel and the Beatles, and like that pre-chorus in particular, like the pre-chorus, the way that hit me at times, it makes me think of other songs that kind of tap into that sense of nostalgia. 93 Till Infinity by Souls of Mischief is one of those songs.
Mhm.
But I mean, it
That's dope.
it tapped into that for me, and I absolutely love that. And there are several moments throughout the album. Press Save is another one that does such a good job of that. Were you guys conscious of that while you're writing your music? How that the emotions would be evoked from a person?
I mean, I think that we were conscious of the fact that we were taking a departure. I mean, for one, from my perspective, that's more the singer-songwriter element of things is something that I'm like steeped in that historically. And I think from the for Shawn, just like his guitar playing is a part of, uh his growth and his experience and
Right.
an extension of him, I think, I mean, what I think we were really aware of the fact that from a direction standpoint, it was gonna be an acoustic record, it was gonna be unison vocals and some harmonies, it would be reverbs and that it would be a much earthier thing than whatever big pop artist I could be working with or a Boyz II Men record. But I do think that we I mean, the way that the album is being received is as like an Americana soul. It's,
Yes.
it is Americana in the way that it's acoustic guitars and vocals and it's raw. There's no, there's nothing about this that's like, you know, that kind of super ultra compressed, ultra processed shit in it.
Right.
Um, but the soul part, it's like if you listen to like Oceans of Love and you listen to any of these songs, it's like, well, for starters, you can't step away from that. Sorry, Sean, I feel like you want to jump in and go, man.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no, bro.
I,
Billy, you
I,
think I listen, I let you cook. I mean, you're knocking it out the
no,
park,
but
bro. Do your thing.
I guess the part that you don't know is we we were moving so quickly. I mean, it was coming out of us so fast, the whole process that not just the songwriting, but the songwriting, the vocals, the guitar arrangements. I don't want to, uh, undercut just how impactful Clay Sears was, who some great guitarist, but the overall
100.
experience was like, it was just untethered. There was no A&R guy coming in saying, "Oh, you gotta, like, do X, Y, and Z." It was none of that. It was pure. The whole process was pure. So, Press Save was like, I mean, that's a special. They're all special. They all have their own
Right.
life force to them, but they're all, in my view, they're all have the spirit, that Simon and Garfunkel's type spirit, but it's also got the, like, Bill Withers spirit. It's got,
Right.
What?
it's got like, some of the Isley Brothers, Oceans of Love and some of those chord changes. It's like if
Yeah.
you Harvest for the World by the Isley Brothers is adjacent to Americana Soul.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think what's cool, honestly, is seeing us on these playlists, Americana playlists. Um, it's that part is, I mean, it's beautiful for me musically, but I also see how much fun it is for Shawn to be able to step out and not be typecast as a musician, and that's part of it. Part of it is like, how do you not typecast yourself? And that's what I mean about the people that listen to it, that are our age, that are adults. Like, we want you to sit and open up a bottle of wine and relax and experience the music, and that we're and not feel like, either, well, what does that slang mean? Or, I don't know if I should be listening to this, or, it's not even that. It's like adult music. It's supposed to be that. And that's the way our shows are going to be. We're going to include people. And I think the best part about it is I'm sort of on one, but is we just kept going in the direction we were going. I don't think we thought about it beyond that. And this is what happened.
So Shawn, what is it like for you to be on Americana charts and experience this from a different angle for once?
I told Billy, I said, this was not on like the life's bingo card for me.
Apparently it was, bro.
Yeah. This was something that just came with the journey.
Yeah.
And when things like that happen, it just makes life that much more spicier and yummier.
Yeah.
To know that there are boundaries that you didn't even know about that you could break. But that's what happens when you follow your heart. I think with doing this guitar thing, I was just trying to imitate my heroes, Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and John Mayer,
Yeah.
and learn the chords and see if I could do a couple of tricks on stage for fun. And I didn't realize how deep the love was going to go for just the virtues of guitar, not just actually playing it, but once you get into the philosophies and the verbiage of a lot of my heroes, right, which is extended now. It went from those guys that I just mentioned to Albert King and BB King and uh Jackson Brown and all these guys that I now listen to differently,
Right.
because now I'm dissecting what they do on the fretboard and trying to imprint some of that DNA into my playing. So now that I'm able to do that, I have somewhat of a skill set. So now I can hear things and actually imitate it, which is a bug out to me to know that I could actually learn an Ernie Isley lick is one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done in my whole career. And this is next to Boyz II Men and all that other stuff. This is spiritual on so many levels, and the levels that I didn't think that I would be experiencing, that I'm forever changed because of this. And like I said, it's been a blessing and such a fulfilling ride. And now I'm able to do it with a friend of mine standing
Right.
next to me and singing and playing and hearing him do some shit that's gonna make me go, oh, I gotta learn that later after the show. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a constant, just fertile soil of just music and creativity. It's amazing.
See, I love the fact that you guys have put so much weight into the production value of the acoustic guitar specifically. There are little nuances that, I think maybe not a lot of pedestrian non-musician types might get on first listen, but little things like little pick scrapes and like the way a strum is recorded and such that you guys did so well. Like I know
Thank
from
you.
firsthand experience, recording an acoustic guitar can sometimes be a damn nightmare. but your guitar tone and everything sounds so good. The album sounds so warm. Listening to the thing front to back this morning, um, I I even posted about it on Instagram where I said this album is landing at the perfect time as summer starts to come to a close and we start kind of treading our way into fall, because I know for me personally, my music tastes are very seasonal, and this feels like the right album coming out at the right time.
Oh, this album goes great with a pumpkin spice latte.
You said it, man.
It's perfect. You get a nice blueberry scone. You get a pumpkin spice latte. You got your AirPods on. You're sitting outside because it's of the Starbucks or whatever coffee shop you frequent, and you sit there and you people watch and you cross your legs and you're just listening to the music and you're just kind of vibing out and stuff. It's perfect. It's that type of vibe.
That is like, dude, I'm just gonna say this right now. That is like totally spot on, and how far we have come from Philly. In Philly, it'd be like, I can see in an alleyway getting coffee from Big Feet, someone smoking something,
Right.
and we're
Right.
and
Right.
like this.
We got those songs
I
too.
think we
But it's like,
split. I think we split a tasty cake. I think.
yeah, yeah, man. But this is for the the uh the advanced in wisdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They got the folks that has gone through shit, has raved in college and parties and had the lesbian experience and now is married and have kids and all that stuff. And you know what I'm saying? Like you've grown, you've seen some shit, you've experienced
Right.
some things, you took the weird drugs, you now you're grown up and you've fallen in love and you've been heartbroken and you've broken hearts and you lost jobs and you've lost houses and you've gone through life things and you've lost people and all of that. Like this is what I think by osmosis this is encompassed with this
Yeah.
record. Like this is our lives being played out with music and that's the tie that binds us. Even if you've never met us before, like you can hear it and you can listen to the lyrical content and the actual music itself, just like you said, the the scraping of the pick on the strings and that type of thing. Like I think I'm slightly autistic myself because part of playing the guitar for me is somewhat of a stem. It soothes
Right.
me. So because it's so close to my chest, so when I hear it and when I hear the scrapes of the strings and stuff like that, it does something for me, from a just a
Sensory.
sensitivity
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah, sensory side.
ASMR
So
kind of feel.
so yeah, so again, it covers all of those bases. It's a human album. It's filled with blood and anima and and veins and sinew and all of those things. This is what makes this album what it is because it's all organic.
Yes. Yeah, you basically talked about all of us being old guys without calling us all old guys, but this album definitely feels lived in. Now, we've all been through kind of a shared experience. The whole world went through it 5 years ago. We all experienced the global pandemic, and it seems like people's relationship with nostalgia and life experiences changed as a result of it. We all look at life a lot differently as a result of that. Some better than others, but what is your guys' individual relationship with nostalgia like when you consider the context of this album and the things that you guys have already created in the past?
I mean, I think that uh like one of the benefits of being a songwriter and a producer professionally is that I get to hop around. So
Right.
my experience is not, you know, it's much freer. I can go from, you know, a boy band to Burt Bacharach to a John Legend to Pink, and in a 2-week time, I can move around genres. I can move around differently, and that that's a that's one of the cool parts of being an independent and creative person in that way. I think what this project has done for me and the nostalgia is directly connected to the forcing mechanism that being quarantined and that the pandemic had on people, which is it forced all of us to be grounded. I had never been at home for longer than maybe 6 weeks since I was a teenager, and all of a
Right.
sudden I was at home, and um, we are. I think everybody who's lived through that experience, and listen, I mean, Sean and I live in really beautiful homes. Like our quarantine experience is a much more lucky and easier experience than people who were like in families living in small apartments that were
Right.
cramped up together. And we know that.
Right.
But I think we
Yeah.
feel less guilty about seizing the day. And I think that the nostalgia, there's like the musical nostalgia. It's like this feels like a Bill Withersy vibe or a Simon and Garfunkel vibe. But I think the real nostalgia is feeling less guilt about allowing yourself to see the moment more, because the humility that came to us from the pandemic, um, I think that's going to last, especially for us, the adults that live through the experience. I mean, my youngest kid, they're so elastic and resilient. It's like it'll be a memory, but it'll be a faded memory. For us, what that
Right.
meant, cleaning our stop, the food we got at the store, the bags, I mean, the stuff the shit that we went through, the paranoia and the worry, and it was it was terrible. So I think the biggest nostalgia point for me is it's not so selfish for us to carve out a little bit of space outside of our normal shit to express ourselves. So I don't know if that answers the question in terms of
It
the
does.
musical nostalgia. But for me, I feel like I don't think I would have done this, and I don't know if I can't speak for Sean, but I it's much easier to explore something like this that's outside the lines, knowing that we just don't know what tomorrow brings. So why should we not do it? And hopefully that the people that hear about the record and hear the record, that the takeaway, at least from our live shows, because when we play together, it is beautiful. But from the live show, that they take away like that was an unexpected cool thing that we were just a part of. And I want
Yeah.
more of that. I want I'm selfish about that. And mine, I don't know. I do think that um a lot of things that people are doing in a post-pandemic way. Some of them, by the way, we're talking about musical, but some of them are like divorces, like this marriage was never good anyway, or some others, like, you know, I think it forced us to recognize our mortality in a way different than we had before.
Yes, yes, like taking inventory, realistically.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking
Yeah.
personal inventory a lot better and a lot more efficiently. I mean, we could commiserate for hours probably on the ugliness on the other side of it, but we won't go there. What about you, Sean? What is your experience with nostalgia, and both musically and personally, like in regards to all of this?
Billy pretty much summed it up, but I'll just say that it's one of the reasons why. I mean, I was already on that fuck it train, but the the pandemic just pretty much sealed it for me.
Yeah,
Like it just made everybody. That is, if you were paying attention, made everybody realize that life is very fragile, and what you do today is all that matters. And who you spend your time with today is all that matters. So take full advantage of it, because there's no guarantee of tomorrow. So uh to know that people's lives hung in the balance of an invisible virus is just absolutely insane. And but it also puts a lot of things in the right perspective.
agreed.
So with that, yeah, you you look at your loved ones, you realize, at least in my case, I realized during that pandemic that my family's actually cool people. But, outside of me loving them and the bias side of it, I think anybody could have hung with my family and been totally fine. Like, they're just cool folks.
Yeah.
And I actually appreciated and enjoyed those 2 years. I really did. Like, it just allowed us to bond in ways that we probably would have never done before. And it just allowed me to love my babies more. Right, baby?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Brooklyn.
Hi again. Years.
You know why?
I'm just going to my chin. I'm getting my nails done and I'm going to get out. So,
All right, bye.
peace.
Bye.
Love it.
You'll be safe.
Okay.
All right, love you. Love you, bye.
Love that.
So yeah, so it's one of those things where you just realize what matters and what doesn't.
So we've talked about the past, we've talked about the present. Now let's talk about the future. What happens next? Album drop today. Obviously, there's the normal marketing thing. What are the plans for Chosen Family moving forward? I know in your press release, you guys talk a little bit about a tour. Are we expecting you guys to tour and do some shows all over the US?
We want to. That's the goal. The music is great in your headphones, but we feel like the experience in person is better. And it just makes people appreciate those moments with our music better, it more, when you see it. And when you hear the conversation that we're having with the actual crowd and the connection, that's where I think our our brightest moments will be, when we're on stage, sweating it out, making mistakes and laughing about it at the same time,
Yes.
and just enjoying a human experience with other humans that appreciate and understand the necessity of togetherness, of actually being in front of someone's face and hearing, seeing, and feeling their emotions. There's nothing like a live show. And it can, and depending on the circumstance, it could be life-changing, because the beauty of performing live is you never know how the spirit's going to move the crowd.
Yeah.
There might be things that might come about in the midst of our set list that might make us go somewhere else and do something else, or sing something else, or say something else, that just sparks a different type of weight
Right.
to the performance. So when people leave, they leave different. So we look forward to being a part of that catharsis and somehow generating something special within that. We want our shot. We want our shot at doing that. We've seen so many do it. We've seen Simon and Garfunkel do it. We've seen Fish do it. We've seen the Grateful Dead do it. We've seen, so many artists do that and capture those moments with people. And it's a blessed gift. And we want to be able to do that too.
It's coming. I mean, we've got, by the way, just in the blocking and tackling of time, we're going to do a performance, I think, in Nashville coming up, one in Detroit coming up, but it's just, putting it together. It's really exciting. And Shawn is right. There's nothing better than when you sit in front of people with your instruments and connect. And you don't need all the bells and whistles and whatever. You can just do it with great songs, great music.
I love that. I love that. Guys, this has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. My closing question is a little bit off kilter, but I am really interested to hear how you guys answer it individually. And that is, given all of your experience, what is your advice for making the world a better place tomorrow than what it is today?
I think we are the same in a lot of instances, but I think the problem is we don't accept and appreciate each other's differences. Like, the part of the world and what makes it so spicy and beautiful are our differences. And while everybody's so busy at trying to be the same, we're the same, we should be the same. No, we should be different. And we should learn how to respect each other's differences. That's the secret sauce. It's not being the same. It's reveling in each other's different perspectives and cultures and lifestyles and all of those things, and learning from it. Or at least, if you don't relate with it to it, at least respecting that person for thinking or believing those things and allowing that person their space. The problem with the world, to me, is the colonization of ideals.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be this way. And that's where all hell broke loose. There was a time where everybody wasn't the same. And that was okay. Everybody came from different worlds and had different shades and hues of skin and different foods and different ways to cook it and the whole 9 yards. And everybody just traded secrets, traded things off, and it was cool.
Yes.
The problem started when everybody was trying to push this same thing agenda, where I don't think that's it. I think that, yes, we all have a life expectancy. That's what makes us the same. We all have arms, limbs, and eyes. That makes us the same. But Billy's perspective is what makes me respect him. Because even though we do have similar journeys, he took a different road. And I can learn from that.
Right.
I can be a better person because he did something that I didn't do. So I think what, in my humble opinion, what will make the world a better place is to stop alienating somebody or stop hating somebody because their nose is a little bigger. Weird. It's weird. It's very weird, and it's not welcoming to me. Yeah, everybody should just accept the differences.
I was just going to say, back in the day, you would walk in a bar and there would be a sign behind the bar and it would say, no politics, no religion. And everybody would just get along and have drinks together. And then when we started, when we started, exactly like you're saying, colonizing ideas and colonizing personalities, that's when all hell broke loose and things went to shit.
Let's just love each other for who they are.
Yes. Yes. What about you, Billy?
Well, I mean, listen, of course, I agree with Shawn. I really like my nose, by the way. I feel good about it. Just FYI.
It's a
But
great nose. Billy.
thank you, brother. Same for you. What I would say is, because I'm aligned with Shawn on this, what stands in the way for me is the fact that we are being super tribalized every day. What happens in the way that, like, a very complicated news story is reduced to like 15 seconds without verification of where it is. It there's no quality control. There is just volume and everything is on blast. And the weird part about it is we've never been more connected ever in the history of the world, and people have never felt more tribalized and isolated and lonely and depressed and hopeless, even though we're all so connected. And part of that is, to Shawn's point, the idea that there are forces seeking uniformity in the human experience. And that isn't what makes us beautiful. So I would only say that I think the way that the world becomes better is when we realize that the information that we're getting and the volume, the velocity of it isn't giving us a variety of differences. It's actually giving us more of the same in volume. I like chocolate cake, and then all of a sudden my feed is flooded with so much chocolate cake. You can't imagine how much chocolate cake, and I love chocolate cake. At which point I'm not exposed to strawberry shortcake or whatever else. And it's the same thing
Right.
with politics. It's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with fashion. It's the same thing with, whatever it is that you are attracting is going to be multiplied by that algorithm that you're subject to. So we need to figure out how to stop that. That's Chosen Family, the music we're making, our collaboration, the dynamic of two brothers who grew up together but in very separate and different experiences. That's the beauty of this project. That's why we want to play live. That's why we want people to listen to it. Because you know what? I'm sorry, but chocolate and peanut butter makes a really good Reese's peanut butter cup. And we gotta that doesn't happen if we're just feeding ourselves the homogenous version of whatever it is we think we like in the moment. So I think the more we do that, the more we diversify our our intake, the richer and more nutritious the quality of life will be for everybody.
I love Reese's.
I know, me too.
I love Reese's too, man. Damn. Pursue discovery, not dopamine. And maybe that's kind of a good way to sum it all up. Like, continuously pursue discovery versus just pursuing that dopamine rush that everybody is so after every day. Why don't you let my audience know where they can find you guys online and your new album?
Chosen Family Music on Instagram. We have our Chosen Family Music website where you can look at future tour dates. You can look them up and merchandise and other little tidbits we're going to have on the actual site.
Yeah.
And
Chosenfamily.co.
there you go, chosenfamily.co.
.co, that's right.
Yeah, Billy Mann has his Instagram. Please look him up. He's a pretty nice guy.
Thank you.
And mine is Shawn Stockman Official. And yeah, thank you so much for supporting in advance, and we'll see y'all real soon.
Oh, I love it, guys. You know, I got to tell you guys, the world's a much better place with you guys in it. I hope we can break bread together in the real world someday.
We shall.
Thanks for doing the show.
Love it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.